Hi guys, welcome to Triple Act of. So today we are going to be looking at how to solve quadratic equations. But before we start looking at examples to solve, we want to just remind ourselves about what are the things you need to know about quadratic equation. Well, we've listed three things that you're supposed to know about what quadratic equations, and these are what one quadratic equations are second degree polynomial. Then two quadratic equations are represented in this form, which is what ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. And this is an example of how it will look like. And the a and the b are the coefficients, while the x are the what are the variables. Then the c is a what is a constant. That's the second thing you need to know. Then the third one is that for a quadratic equation, you are going to be having two roots at the end of what at the end of solving the quadratic equation. So for this tutorial and subsequent ones, the method we will be using in solving the quadratic equations are we'll be using factorization method. The second one will be the completing the square method, and the third one will be the quadratic formula method. So if you are happy and excited and you want us to continue with this, please subscribe to the channel and like our page at Triple Heart of. Subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to put on the notification button so that when a new video or when subsequent videos are being uploaded, you won't miss them. So if you are happy and you want us to want to continue in this, subscribe to the channel. And so let's see how it goes. Let's look at one or two examples of how to solve quadratic equation. But for today we are going to only use what the factorization method for the examples we'll be treating today. So in our subsequent videos we will be looking at what other methods, which are the completing the square method and the quadratic formula method. All right. So if you have any question, you put it in the comment section, and I'll be glad to answer your question as regards the quadratic equation. Also, if you have any question that is bothering you, maybe some topics that you are not that good in them, you can also put them in the comment section, and I'll try my best to answer them either as a video or as a direct message to you. All right, so what we will do now is let's look at how to solve a quadratic equation using the factorization method. So factorize x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Now, if we are given this type of question, taking a look at it, we are quite sure that it is a quadratic equation, because the highest degree there is a second degree polynomial, which is the raised to power 2. And taking a look at it, it is equated to to 0. So the first thing you have to do if you want to factorize such an equation is we'll be dealing with factors, just as the name suggests. Factorize, so from factors. So we'll be getting our factors from there, and we'll be using it to solve this equation. So we'll be making use of factors, and you know what factors are. So taking a look at this, we will write out two things. The two things maybe at the back of your booklet, you can just put something like this. This will be like a guide to you. So you put something like a product and sum. The product and the and the sum. So let's factorize this now. So you have x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. So what's the first thing you do? Like I said earlier, we want to work with what? With the product, and we want to work with the what? With the sum. So what do? The first value here, which is what? This x squared, with the coefficient given there, with the coefficient, if it is 1, if it is 2, or if it is 3, 4, 5, and so on, the coefficient of this x, both x squared, both of them, use it to what? To multiply this. That's the product we want to look for. So if you multiply this x squared with this 6, what will you get? And don't forget the sign, the arithmetic sign. So for the product, you'll be having what? 6x squared. Now look at the middle here. So the middle, this middle here, is now will now give us our what? Our sum, which is going to be what? Plus 5x. Now we've derived our what? Our product. We've gotten it, and we have our what? Our sum also, which is what? Plus 5x. So what's the next thing we'll do? We'll now go to our factors. We'll go to our what? Our factors. We'll now look at it. Okay, as a product, we are having 6x squared here, and as a sum, we are having what? 5x. We'll now look at, okay, what are the two factors that if I multiply those two factors, it will give me 6 plus 6. If I add or subtract that same two factors, I will be having it to be what? Plus 5x. I repeat, we are going to be looking for two factors whereby the product of the two factors, that's if you multiply those two factors that you have, it will give you plus 6x squared. That same factors that you've gotten that gave you this, if you either add it or you subtract it, it will give you what? Plus 5x. So the first thing, if you directly know what to do, for me, I already know what my factors, the two factors will be for what? For 6. The factors of 6 that will give me 6, the factors that will give me 6 and will also give me this, it will be what? It will be 3x and 2x. 3x and what? And 2x. Now the next thing is for us to now take the arithmetic sign into what? Into consideration. Now for you to be, since both of them are plus, it is quite easy for us to what? It is quite easy for us to guess that, okay, this will just be what? This will just be plus plus. Because if I multiply this now, 3 times 2, it will give me 6. X times x will give me x squared. Then plus times plus will give me plus. So if I add these two together, which will give me the sum, so plus 3x plus 2x, it will give me what? Plus 5x. So these two factors here are what you now bring back into this equation that you have here. So what do we have? We are going to be having what? X squared. Then instead of you writing the plus 5x, you will write it. You will now bring these two into this. So this will now give us what? Plus 3x plus 2x. So these two has come in, and as it has represented this 5x. Then we are now left with what? Plus 6 equal to 0. Now we've simplified this equation here. This is what it gives us. So what do we have now? Since if you look at it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next thing for us is what? Is to group them in twos. Group them in twos. So we are having this with this with this. So each of them are in what? In a bracket. So we now pick the bracket one after the other and what? And get their what? The common factors in each bracket. So here we are having x raised to power 2 plus 3x. So what's common there? Looking at it, what's common there is what? Is x. So open a bracket. So do a division. X, take it from here, you'll be having to do what? X plus x, take it from here, we'll be having here, we left with 3 plus this. So what's common here? If you look at it, this is 2, this is what's common, 2 is common. Open a bracket. If you do a division, 2 divided by this, you'll be left with what? X. Then plus times plus times plus will give us plus. So here, divide it, you'll be having what? 3. So equal to what? 0. Now, if you look at this bracket and this bracket, they are, what's inside there? Inside them are what? Are the same. So what you do is what? You pick one out of the what? Out of the brackets. So you pick one out of this, since they are what? They are the same. So we are having what? X plus 3. So we've taken one out of this. So we are now left with what? X plus 2. So you put that 2 in the what? In the bracket is x plus 2. So everything equal to 0. So after you've done this, then the next thing, since we want to solve for x, so we will now what? Separate this bracket now. So we equate this bracket to 0. We also equate this bracket to 0. So here we will now be having x plus 3 equal to 0, or x plus 2 equal to 0. So with this, we now be having x equal to minus 3, or x equal to minus 2. So this is the solution for what? For this quadratic equation using factorization method with for this equation, and this is what we will get at the end of the day. So x equals to minus 3, or x equals to minus 2. So don't forget, if you are following it up to this level, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and press the notification button. Also like our page. Also, notification button should be on, so that when subsequent videos are being uploaded, you will be notified. Okay, so these are first example of how to use what? Factorization method. All right, let's look at another example and how we can use what? Factorization method to what? To solve it. Let's look at how we can use, let's look at another example. Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at another example. All right, I have something here. Factorize x squared minus 8x minus 9 equal to 0. X squared minus 8x minus 9 equal to 0. All right, just like I said earlier, we want to factorize this. Follow the same procedure. Follow the same step that we took in the first example. So if you follow it, so what will you do? We want to look for the product and we want to look for the sum. Okay, so what will you do? The product is what? The x squared here, multiply it with what? So this will give us the product, and x squared times minus 9, that will give us minus 9x squared. So are we together? So the sum will just be this. This is the sum. So this is the sum, and the sum is what? Minus 8x. Okay, so that's the first step you have to take. So after you've gotten the product and the sum, then the next thing is for you to now get what? The factors. And the two factors that if I multiply together, it will give me minus 9. If I add or subtract the same factor, it will give me minus 8x. So what will be the two factors? The two factors, I'll be having it to be what? 9x and 1x. Okay, 9x and what? 1x. Now, the problem might arise here, and that problem will be with this what? Arithmetic sign. Both of them are negative, negative. You may now be wondering, how will I know that whether this will be negative or this will be positive, or vice versa? So to simplify it, what we will do is what? Write down these factors in 4 places. Write it down in 4 places. 9x, 1x, 9x, 1x, 9x, 1x. Okay, so what we need to do is what? Now place the sign in it. They say this is minus, minus, this is plus, plus, this is minus, plus, and this is plus, minus. So these 4 factors that we have here, we will now look at which of them will align with what we have here. So let's take a look at them one after the other. All right, let's do the product of this. Let's do the product of this. Minus times minus. Minus times minus will give us plus. Minus times minus will give us what? Plus. And what we have here is what? Is minus. So it means this one is out. We can't use it. We can't use that factor. Okay, let's look at this. Plus times plus. Plus times plus will give us plus, and what we have here is what? Is minus. So which means this one too is out. So let's look at the next one. Let's see whether it will give us what we want. Let's see. Let's see. This thing is very, very interesting. So let's see how whether it will give us. That's how you do it. After you've gotten your factors, put it down in 4 places like this. Then assign the what? The arithmetic sign, minus minus, plus plus, plus minus, minus plus. Then from there you move on. So now the first two has given us that we can't use it. So let's look at the third one. The third one that is saying that okay, plus times minus. Sorry, minus times plus. Minus times plus will give us minus. Okay, then 9 times 1, 9, x times x, x squared, which means this one gives us the product. Let's now go to the sum, whether it will give us the sum. Both of them the 2 factors must give us what is in the product, and must also give us what is in the sum. All right, so for the product, it gives us this. Now let's look at whether it will give us the sum. So let's now see minus 9x plus 1x. Minus 9x plus 1x. What will that give us? That will be giving us minus 8x. It will be giving us what? Minus 8x. So which means this third one is what? Is what we will be making use of. So this third factor here is what we will be using. All right, so we now go back to our equation, and so we now write it out. This we'll be having it as what? X squared. So instead of you writing minus 8x, so we come to this and what? And slot it here. So we'll be having what? Minus 9x plus 1x minus 9 equal to 0. So we've simplified this equation here, and this is what we have. So since they are in 4, like the first previous example we did, what did we do? Put them in 2s, in brackets, split them in 2s. Okay, so since this is what we are having here now, so what's common here? X is common. So open a bracket, divide this. So this one we left with what? X minus, if you take it out here, we are having to be having what? 9. Okay, so we are through with this first bracket. So what next is what? Plus. So what's common here? What's common? 1. So 1 is common. Open the bracket. If you divide 1 with this, you are left with what? X. So here plus times minus. Plus times minus, that will give us minus. are we together? Minus. So then divide this will be giving us 9. So close the bracket, equal to 0. Okay, so like the previous example we did, yeah, look at the brackets. For you to be able to pick, for you to be able to choose each of, they must have the same uh, expression in what, in the bracket. Both bracket must be the same. So since they are the same, we have to just pick what, one of it. So we are picking what, x minus 9, which is for this. Then we are left with what, x plus 1. So x plus 1 equal to 0. So we're breaking it down up to this level. Then the next thing is what, to solve for x. And how do we do that? So for the first bracket, we're having it as what, x minus 9 equal to 0, or x plus 1 equal to 0. So when we do this, so our final answer will now be what, x equal to what, 9, or x equal to minus 1. So that's it, guys. That's how we solve the quadratic equation using factorization method. So you can practice with so many examples from your textbooks. Practice them. Anyone you have difficulty, the comment section is there for you. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you in subsequent video. Thank you.